Hello, friends, and welcome to Pathologic Volume 8, Episode 14. Today we've got a classic puzzle. This is a nonogram, or at least that's what you'd call it if you learn about it in Nikoli, the Japanese puzzle magazine that originated so many of these genres. But if you, like me, were introduced to these in Games Magazine years ago and solved a bunch of them there, you might know it as paint by numbers. Or if you learned about it from digital implementations on Nintendo systems, you may know of this genre as Picross. It's all the same thing. And if none of those are familiar to you, then that's no problem, because we will together take a look at the rules. In a nonogram, we shade some cells so that the clues outside the grid represent the lengths of the blocks of consecutive shaded cells in the corresponding row or column in order. This is an intuitive rule that's hard to say succinctly without being imprecise. So just looking at the example will clarify this a lot. This 311 tells us that in this column we're going to see 3 filled in cells, then a gap, then 1 filled cell, then a gap, then 1 filled cell. And a couple more examples to clarify that. This 1-1 will help. Note that there could be a gap before the first of the blocks, this 1, and that gaps can be any size. So this is a gap of length 4, and that's fine, because after that we have a block of length 1. And the same thing is happening horizontally with a 1-1-3 here, a 3-1 there, and so on. An unmarked row or column is empty. This is good to call out because that isn't necessarily what we would expect from some other genres. Sometimes empty means unknown, but in a nonogram, empty is the same as a 0, basically. So this row being empty means we won't have any shaded cells at all. That is just a given. And while it is not specified in the rules nor required by the rules, one of the nice things about a nonogram puzzle is that the result is typically a picture of some kind. Those are the rules of nonogram, so it is time to solve a puzzle. Today's nonogram was set by Jovial. So as we talked about in the rules, if we have no indicator at all in a row or column, that is the same as saying that there is nothing in that row or column. So we will mark those right away, which means that in this particular puzzle, we basically have 4 independent quadrants. So as usual, small and large numbers are the keys, and in a nonogram in particular, large numbers are what give us almost all the information. I'm going to start by calling attention, it looks like, to this 5-5. That is, in particular in a nonogram, the easiest things to look at are always going to be the large, a small quantity of large values. So this 5-5 is completely defined. In fact, it would be without any other clues, because I'm going to just demonstrate that. We could have done this first very easily. 5-5, this grid is 11 by 11, and to have 5-5 and a gap of at least 1 in between means that that is exactly 11 cells taken up there. And there's only one way to do that. So we can mark 5, then a gap, and then 5 more. Horizontally, I see a 4-5, which is nearly as good. That could be a gap of 4, a break of 1, then, filled 4, gap of 1, and then filled 5. But that could be, the 5 could be shifted over by 1, or both of them could be shifted over by 1. But this is a good moment to illustrate the other main thing that I do when tackling a nonogram, and that is to look at the commonalities. So no matter how we slide that 4 and the 5 in here, the 4 is going to stretch at least to this cell. If we push it all the way to the side, it stretches at least this far. And if we push everything to the other side, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 filled, a gap of at least 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's an overlap of 3 cells here that are always going to be part of the 4 clue, no matter how we shift things. And likewise over here, there's going to be a run of 4 cells that are always part of the 5. These 4 are always going to be part of this 5 clue, no matter how it is situated in the puzzle, whether it slides over this way or slides over that way. So that's a basic technique, and actually, as you start getting used to it, you can dial back on the manual counting a little bit by noticing some patterns and situations like that. So one more of these, for example, before I put back in these givens. This 3, 5, it could be 1, 2, 3, then a gap, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we slide it all the way the other way, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then a gap of at least 1, and then 1, 2, 3. So this cell and these cells are the commonalities in this 3, 5, no matter what else is going on. But we do have other things going on, which is going to give us even more. So let's put these givens back in and see what we have. So revisiting this 4, 5, we still don't know what's going on with the 4 any more than we did before, but the 5 is known because it's going to start there. It can't shift any further to the left. It is these 5. Also, if you have working on the edges is usually really good, because now that we've defined a bunch of the cells along this top edge, that tells us a lot about the clues going perpendicular to those. So here, here, and here, those are going to be these 1s, clues of length 1. So we've used up those 3. We've used up this 5. We don't know what the 4 does yet. Over here, we've done the 5, 5. We've used up the first block on all 3 of those. And this one has to start a block of size 5. So that's those 5. Let's just travel downward. Here we've got these 2 we've used up, and then 1 more of these 2 is going to be filled in. That doesn't tell us which. This 5 is definitely known. It's going to be those. And that also gives us this next block of 1 for all 3 of those. Then we've got a 2 and a 1. So this is the 1. No choice there. The 2 could be these 2 or those 2. So either way, that one is included. Let's see what that did vertically. That gave us another of the 1 blocks. So that's unshaded. In this row, we've dealt with the last 2 blocks, and we've got 2 more singles to put somewhere. In this row, this is definitely that 1. The second could go there normally, but we know it doesn't, because if it went there, the 3 run couldn't be placed where it needs to be placed, because this would have to be part of it, and we know that's not going to continue because this is not shaded. So this must be the 1 from right there. Then we have a 3 to place in this run. This will be our commonality, no matter how we place that. This will become part of one of these 2. We don't know which one, but either way, it's size 1, so we can mark this as unshaded. Working our way down, we've got a 4, 4. And we know the leftmost cell in both cases, so that is great. These are going to be fully defined in both cases. And what has that done vertically? This is one of the 1s. We've got 3 out of the 4. In all 3 of these cases, all we have are 1s. So these can't be shaded here. Over here, we've got ones in all three of those cases. It's the next one. And then this row has become fully defined because of those unshadeds we just marked. So we need 4 shaded cells. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only one place to put those. So that was great. Here we've got only ones. So that is going to be one of them. And this is going to be another one of them. And we got 2 more. We can do something about that because of this column. We have our 5, but we know where the 2 starts, so we also know where the 2 ends. And this column is done. That gives us another one of our ones in this row. This one, we got that one and that one, and then 2 more. This is one of them and another one. Here is another 4, 4. This one's defined as before, and the other 4 is going to have these 3 as the commonality. Only ones in this row, so this is a 1. That's done. And we've taken care of this column. We've taken care of all of these columns with all 4 ones, so these are all marked unshaded. And we're almost there. In this column, we've got a 1 and 2 2s. So this cell, could it be part of the 1? If it were, we wouldn't have room to put 2 2s below it. So it is one of the 2s. So that is definitely shaded. That is definitely unshaded. And that has given us the composition of this row, all 4 of them. It's given us the composition of this row, both of the 4s. And we have in this, nope, I was going to say, well, all of these we know to be part of 1s. So these are unshaded. And that has given us 4 shaded cells in this column. So this one's done. In this column, we need 5 shaded cells. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's only one place to put the 5th one. So that one's done. This is the bottom 2 because there's not enough room for another one. And this row is complete now because we've got 1 and only 1 spot for another. That one's done. In this column, we need 1 more shaded cell. In this column, we need to finish off the 3. Okay, so to finish this off, now it's tempting, and there's nothing really wrong with this. It's tempting to see the image that is going to be created and just use that as information, but that's not really what we do here. That's not a completely logical solution, so we want to do this without that shortcut. So we pretend we don't see what it's making until we're done. We'll look for vulnerabilities like this row, which is complete. We've got it. We can finish off this 2 by extending this 1 over here. And that's good because that is going to fully define this column, which is the missing piece. Because where does this 2 go? It can't be these 2 because it would extend to there. So that's not shaded. We've got to fit in a 1 and a 2, and there's only one way to do that, like so. As soon as we've done that, we've got 3 out of the 4 ones in this row. We know that this row needs another 1, and there's only one place to do it. It's right there. We've completed the top row with a 5 and a 4, so that's not shaded. Our 3, 5, well, the 5's done, has been for a bit, but the 3 we also know. We got 1, 2, that'll make it 3, and that's done. In this row, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 ones, so that's done. In this column, we've got 1, 2, 3. We need a 4th single. And just double checking, 3, 1, 1, and 1, 1, 1, 1 has finished that column. And we have made an image. In this case, it is a tribute to Genuinely Approachable Pencil Puzzles, the collection from which I am getting all of this source material. And that is how you solve on Nonogram.